Hello, everybody. Welcome to another survival game news roundup for the week of March 14th to March 20th. We have quite a few exciting reveals today, some new trailers, some new games, so let's just get right into it. On March 14th, Smalland revealed its 2025 roadmap, and they listed out quite a number of things they plan on bringing throughout the year, some pretty exciting things. One of them being the creature stables, where we can basically safely store and manage our loyal creature companions, so you don't have to worry about leaving them out at night and then being attacked and all that kind of sad stuff. So great for that. They also plan on bringing creature equipment, so we can outfit our mounts with gear, basically. And that gear can give them, new abilities and bonuses. So just a way to kind of further buff them, make them either, more resilient in combat or more formative. And you can also we'll be able to give our creatures commands. So, direct commands to them, our companions, basically just to help give players a better tactical control during, combat situation or exploration, this and that. So just finer control basically over everything, which is nice. They're also going to be bringing in guilds, so we can team up with fellow players, form our own guilds, and that'll allow us to share an encampment. We can tackle, various challenges together, world events, and unlock new features with that as well. And speaking of that, they also plan on expanding customization, so they're going to have some more personalization options. That way we can obviously, make characters that we perhaps feel a little bit more connected to, so just basically an expansion on, character style and stuff like that. So always excited for some character customization additions. They're also bringing in some new subterranean areas to explore, some caverns and crystal locations. These locations will have unique resources, glowing crystals, basically a new place for some more storytelling. And obviously, with the unique resources, there are perhaps some new things to build and such as well. They're also bringing in 2 new encampment trees, where you can obviously build your base on those. This is going to be in the northern area of the map. So that's great. And then obviously also they are bringing in crossplay support later in 2025, which apparently has been a much requested feature by players. So if you've been hoping for some crossplay, it is going to be coming this year for you. So we'll be able to team up with friends no matter what platform they are playing on. And they plan on sharing a little bit more about that in a few months, hopefully, on that. So they're committed, obviously, to continuing to build on this game and just bring in possibly some more new content, basically. They're planning on bringing also some surprises and community-driven improvements throughout the year that they not mention in the roadmap. So I guess we'll just have to stay tuned and see what they got for us. On March 18th, Palworld released their Crossplay update. And again, this is another thing a lot of players were hoping for and wanting. Crossplay is now available across all platforms, so you can play with your buddies, again, no matter what system you're using, PC, PlayStation, Xbox, whatever it is, you all can play together now. Along with the crossplay, they've also brought in a few other features. There's a global PAL box now, for example, where we can store PAL data in that global PAL box, which basically it's a safer way to transfer PALs between worlds. So if you want to go join your friend, you can now do that. You don't have to worry about starting over. You can just bring over all your little all your little friends over to them and just keep on running, basically. There's also dimensional PAL storage. So this is a new storage system with 10 times the capacity of a regular PAL box. So guild members can access it, and it can be used kind of like as personal storage, but with private settings. So a little bit easier if you have a lot of PALs on you, especially if you have like a big group and all that. This PAL storage will hopefully make it a little bit easier to store them, for one, and then also, organize them, I suppose, but it was a way to say that, a little bit nicer as well. They've also brought in cosmetic armor, so we can equip armor that is cosmetic, basically, in the antique dresser, so you can change your character's appearance without affecting your armor stats. So if there was like a particular armor that you really liked, but you just can't wear it anymore because it's not, you know, it's not as ideal, it's not as good, it's not you know, it's not keeping you alive. You can now basically just take that appearance, wear it, but still have the stats of the actual armor that you're using. So that's great for that. They've also brought in photo mode, which I wish they had brought in so much earlier in the game, but it's fine, it's fine. So photo mode is now accessible from the PAL command wheel. You basically can hide the UI, move the camera around, and take your pictures as needed, which again, I would have really have liked that earlier in the game, but it's fine, it's here, it's there. Okay. There's also a drafting table, so you can combine low rarity blueprints to create high rarity ones. So if you have a lot of like those low rarity blueprints and you just don't know what to do with them, now they have a purpose, which is great because I certainly have quite a few of those just kind of stacked up and lying about anyway. So that's awesome for that. And then finally, they've also brought in dedicated servers for Mac users. On March 20th, Sengoku Dynasty released its Mono No Aware update, or in other words, update 1.0.3.0, and that introduced a number of new gameplay mechanics and features, one of them being statuses. So now you have to be a little bit careful about like what you're doing, what you're wearing, and the weather. For example, if you go out into like a river or a lake or whatever, and it's winter, you might start freezing to death, you know, or if it's like storming, you might get a little too cold based on what you're wearing. So you have to be a little bit careful with that because these are statuses. They are a thing now. So basically they it sounds like they can drain your health or give you some sort of negative impact, and it's you know, it's dangerous, but they have also obviously means to negate those. So obviously if it's storming outside, you know, just go inside a house, don't go out in the winter or something, I don't know. Or you can make, you know, certain drinks to, you know, avoid like a scorching sun or the cold or anything like that. And they do plan on kind of updating this more in the future just to give some more unique statuses. Basically they're really looking to emulate the survival aspect basically of Japan in the Sengoku era. So be careful out there now. It's a lot more dangerous. They've also introduced personal quests, and these are seasonal based. So and they're procedurally kind of generated in a way. So you might notice that one of your villagers might have a quest for you now. And you have to complete that quest within the season, otherwise it disappears, it goes bye-bye. But that's something that they have brought in as well, and it's not just your villagers. There might be other friendly NPCs out there in the world who have a quest for you. They want you to help them with something, so obviously, you know, do so. You'll get some rewards from that, and like I said, at the end of the season, those quests are they go bye-bye, but then the new season rolls in and there's a chance for some new quests for you to tackle. So basically just some more content if you're feeling a little bored out there. They've also brought in character backgrounds. So this is a way to kind of give your character a certain kind of play style. And how that kind of works is that there's a brand new backgrounds tab which allows you to choose your character's past. And each background kind of grants like a unique starting perk, which gives you an edge by basically kind of boosting the XP gains in that kind of specific way of life that's tied to that background. And you also get a background mastery perk further down the line. So you kind of have to figure out what you want and, you know, play accordingly. Now, you might be wondering, okay, if I'm playing this, what if I want to try the other one? Do I have to make like a new save file? And like, if you want to do it immediately, then yes, but if you don't mind waiting, you can now pass on your dynasty to your child. And your child can basically choose their background, which could be different from the one that you chose, and then you can go ahead and kind of experience what that's like with, you know, the new background that you choose. And then once more, when your child has another child, they can also choose a different background, and, you know, et cetera, basically. So, but the real news here is that you can now pass on your dynasty to your child. You have a child, they can grow up, and they can you can basically be like, all right, you are the new leader of the town, have fun. So when you basically move the game beyond yourself, and then you switch to your character, your character's child, they will inherit your inventory, the starting background perks, the other perks will get reset, some XP for their initial unlocks, and the dynasty level as well. And so basically, if you're able to have a few generations, you can enjoy all the background perks at the same time. That's kind of the key there. So kind of a reason, I guess, to really kind of push for a child and then have an heir and then pass the dynasty on to them. And then finally, they also brought in Steam Deck compatibility, basically. So Sengoku Dynasty is now playable on the Steam Deck. So if you prefer to play on that console, that's available for you now. And they do plan on further updating it for the Steam Deck just to make sure that it's as smooth as possible. So pretty cool stuff from Sengoku Dynasty. On March 20th, Permafrost released a new game trailer. It was released for the Future Game Show, that little, news segment event thing. So I will just kind of like leave it here for us to watch this new game trailer. But pretty exciting. Basically kind of gives it's a really short trailer, but it basically just gives a quick glimpse into some of the obstacles we're facing, the towns, points of interest, stuff like that. As well as just that gosh darn winner. So enjoy the trailer. And then finally, we have a new kind of game, a survival game, announced slash revealed their gameplay trailer. This game is called Crosswind. This happened on March 20th. The developers and publishers for this game is called Crosswind Crew. It is a survival MMO with obviously, some pirate themes going on here. So according to their Steam page, Crosswind is a survival MMO set in the age of piracy. Explore a vast open world, gather, build, and craft, overcome challenging bosses and their dark powers, sail your ship, fight on land and sea, solo or with friends, plunder, trade, conspire, and rise to power in your swashbuckling adventure. There is currently a playtest available on Steam. The release date is still to be announced. But they have this pretty extensive gameplay trailer just showing what the game is all about. And I actually saw one of the developers talking with some people, kind of having an Ask Me Anything on Reddit. And a lot of people were asking, what's the difference between this game and like Sea of Thieves and Atlas, for example, which was, Ark's developer was kind of behind that, and Atlas kind of fell flat for a lot of people. And they were saying that it's basically its own kind of thing. It definitely takes it's trying to take the best of Sea of Thieves and Atlas and all that, but definitely it is its own unique identity, is what I'm understanding what the dev was saying. And they plan on obviously having like a lot of like... I know like a lot of people were a little alarmed by the MMO word in there, and from what I understand, it's going to be kind of like you can play solo. It's not going to be an offline game, but you can play solo in like one of their servers, and you can also obviously invite friends. It sounds like you don't have to. You don't have to be part of like a big, huge MMO experience or anything. It can be pretty private if you wish it to be, as well as I know some people are a little bit put off by PvP. I'm one of those people, but it sounds like they are mainly focusing this on PvE, so player versus environment, which is definitely my preference, which is awesome. But they are going to have some player versus player elements, which are voluntary, so you don't have to do them if you don't want to, which is great for that. Kind of appeals to everybody in some capacity, I think. So we'll definitely keep an eye on Crosswind. I'm pretty excited. I love pirates. Always love that. And mix that with some survival. I am there. So so if you're interested in trying it out for yourself, just check out their Steam, and you can try to get into their playtest and let them know what you're thinking. But that is it for this week's Survival Game News Roundup. I will see you guys next week with some more news, and we'll see what's happening in the space. But until then, keep surviving and keep thriving.